Hello. And so this is a completely new thing. This is changing, changing for you, but a meaningful changing. So it's not a surface changing, it's changing that will be good for everyone in the world if the plan is followed. And the lecture, this lecture consists of 3 points. First point is speech improvement. Second point is social injustice. Third point is startup. Now, what is it all about? So this is just learning a language, going global through learning a language. The meaning is not in going global, but probably this is interesting to you. But it's not about going global, it's about being useful in different ways. If you're looking for different unique ways, this is for you. But maybe you will be just enjoying the process. So the thing is that through learning, just learning and improving a language, a foreign language, whether it's English or any other foreign language for you, you simultaneously influence the world and the world changes for the better. This is the interesting thing that it is about. And finally, you self-realize in such a way that the world is completely different. And this all is only achieving the goal. So you achieve the goal of self-development, the goal of perfecting the language. So this is fluency, this is pronunciation, and so on and so forth. So pretty interesting scheme. How do we achieve this? First point. First point is subdivided into 3 points. So now 3 comments about the statement 1. Statement 1 to consider is language development. So development of the foreign language, of the knowledge of the foreign language. First of all, it's overcoming the 2 types of barriers. And this is communication. These are communication barriers and the excuse barriers. Excuse barriers, there are many of them, and they are different for different people. It is when people say that they will not do something because, and they say these various becauses. But actually they are excuses, because if they really want and need to do this, that is just an excuse that they could avoid. And if they do not avoid it, it means that they don't need it. or don't really want it, or don't want to attempt to do it. If they don't attempt, and so for them, if we change, if they say, so this is our choice, we decided to refuse about it. So if you decided to refuse about it, there is actually no excuse. So you shouldn't say because you needn't say because it's just your choice not to do, to refuse. And what you do else, it is just another thing. It is another choice of yours. So it's not connected. But on the other hand, understood too much. Now, excuse barriers are multiple. What about communication barriers? Communication barriers can be of various types: psychological, lexical, just of how to say, of surrounding influence, like noise barriers, for example. And if we take noise in its figurative sense, this is already another barrier to overcome. So we overcome these barriers, all of them. First of all. Then secondly, how to master language. This is already common knowledge that we approach the mistakes in a completely different way. We're not afraid of making them. We make them deliberately in order to find out the right variant. Of course, not, it doesn't mean breaking the wall with your head, or stumbling over multiple, I don't know what to compare it with, multiple stones on our road. If we can avoid this stumbling, of course we avoid it. But again, there's no delay. Just to have an idea and apply to the idea. Focus on the idea. Try to be reasonable enough, and then just test out different variants of this idea, so that you find how it works. And what doesn't work, it is a mistake, it is wrong, but now you can see what is wrong. So this is the common approach. It's not an invention of mine, it's just a common approach. But on the other hand, this approach is new, and this approach is necessary. And so we focus not on right and wrong, but we focus what is the influence of this. What is the influence of this? And in what way this influence can be used to advantage? In what way this influence could be used to advantage? Like this. Then, next. Next is that point 1 and point 2 combined give its result, and it can be used to advantage to achieve particular goals. And this is why point 3 makes us ready to go to the next part. The next part is social injustice. And what is social injustice? So here, you first find out what exactly is wrong. If you decide this problem for yourself, you apply to yourself. But it can be also a different situation. You can solve another person's problem. So this how you apply to the person. What's wrong with you? Example, the person says, what is wrong? And this brings us to the second point. The second point, what can be changed in order to fix this? So why is it so wrong? What must be changed so that it doesn't feel wrong in this way? How to put it correct? If this variant is wrong, then which variant is right? And the third point is as follows. You think it for yourself. How can you contribute to this? Because, for example, you give such a decision that some other people should be involved in this. And that means that you just like don't participate. And this shouldn't be like this. This is why point 3, how you can contribute to this. Second, change. 3, contribution. In this, you find this solution in this way. And solutions may be very different. Then, now I'm going to give you one of the ideas. One of the ideas. Social injustice. What is it? It is when due to some certain peculiarities of a person, it is mistakenly thought that this person is so less valuable, should have less rights than others, and something like that. Something not very convenient. And so, what is here wrong? Here is lack of rights in comparison with others. How can this be changed? Gaining the same rights as them, right? Gaining equal rights. And now, how? In what way? In what way it is done? The way it is done is simple. You do something useful for the world. I mean, this person that has this problem does something useful to the world. The thing that they can, or probably, we can make it even more complicated. For example, they do not know the language. You do know the language. You teach them the language. They start teaching this language to someone else. Like this. And this way, they prove. So why they worse? They can do this useful thing as well as others. And so what's more important? Their peculiarity or the use that they bring? See? See. Now, next thing. Next thing goes about the startup. Startup means starting a project, starting a project from the very, very beginning. You just invented something and you started. You didn't do it and you start doing it. So how to do that? Is need investments, need money. If we don't have, we don't do this. Now, to start, you don't need. Of course, you need it to work on it, to work with it, and to develop it, and to do the business. Of course, money is necessary, but it is not necessary to begin with. To begin with, you just need to start. What do you need to start? Start teaching what you know, or what you can, and it can be not connected with the language. I mean the skill that you want to pass to someone else. But the thing is that you do it with the language. So you know the foreign language already, and you master it because you are using it to achieve that different goal of teaching someone something that you can do or that you know, some information. For example, you're a history teacher. So you learned French as a foreign language. Start teaching history in French. And you can even broaden this, saying that, for example, how to put it, to people who are not French native speakers, but you're using French. This way, what do you actually do? You teach them both history and French, right? Right. An interesting approach. This is already multi project, right? And you just start it. So, first of all, to start, what do you need to start? You need to find people who needs this. And well, the easier way would be for you to find people who need something and then analyze whether you know or can this something or you cannot. And if you cannot, maybe you could even learn this. So it's like this. Then this is point two. Point two is that they have already learned from you. But when you connect with them, you tell them that their task is to pass their knowledge further. So they're not just knowing it and just using it for themselves in order to get something else, for themselves. but their task is, their additional task is to give these things to others too. In this way, you see, in this way, there are already more people like you because they continue doing what you were doing. So this one of three. And then the next one to three is the bigger point, just the bigger point. Now it is something. So you now need to decide. So you already have this thing going on. So there is a movement. You now need to know how are you going to grow into the project. This is why you need to know, starting up a project, you need to know who is this project for. So the people, the exact people. And what is this project for? So the purpose of the project. You need to know these two things about the project. It is important. When you know these two things, when you know these two things, just you join yourself to this project. It means the complete commitment to the project, and then you involve friends who are close to you, who trust you, and no matter how they react, they are already involved, even if they are negative about it. If they are negative, you just make a joke. All right, you're negative. Now let's play a game. You say no, I say yes. And so they're hooked, all the same, because they are your friends and they like interacting with you, and they sort of catch the interest of playing a game with you. Otherwise, you are completely different, and it is already up to you not to involve these friends. So you start doing this with friends and get first people who are interested. Get first people who are interested, and these people who are interested in this, they become your partners. So they don't just get the product, but they are converted into partners. They start acting together with you, finding other people. And in this way, you grow. You're growing your network. And as the network grows, more and more people come. So the most important point is to find the right thing to work on. thing that really would work, thing that people really need. In this way, it will really work. So this is the theory. Just find where to use the theory and the practice. This is the point. And after a while, it grows in such a way that it embraces the whole world. And the world becomes different because of this thing, because of this change that came to the world. Because while defining the aim of the project and the participants of the project, you already consider what will be the change, what will be different, what thing would be different in this. And all the time, you are using that language that you are mastering. This is the point. This is why it is improvement of the language. Now, in this way, if we sum this all up, what do we get? We get growing through building. Because what I told you was just the description of a building level scheme. How the project is built. And building project, we master the language. And what does mastering the language mean? It means self-development, of course. And what is self-development? It's personal growth. So, lots of people around there grow as persons through building up their projects. This can be applied to any developed person and also to the scheme that I just described. And so the concluding thing of solving the problem of improving the language, becoming a native speaker, overcoming social injustice, and starting up own project. What is one solution to these three problems combined together? It also consists in this solution. It's one solution, but it is a solution of three stages. Stage one, communicating to the world. The world should know something. We connect to the world. We speak to the world. We teach the world something we know. Secondly, educating the world. We give education First, we just teach it generally, then we teach it to people who have social injustice so that they can pass on this knowledge, and in this way they decide their problem. We have them decide their problem. We are educating the world. We explain the world that there is no social difference, and so there should not be any social injustice. And then point 3, we bring change to the world together, growing the network. This is stage 3. This is a huge project, you know. So in 3 ways. So we helped. Now we can think of a bigger thing. All these people, they continue what we have done. They continue what we were doing. They pass on the knowledge about it, and in this way they are also doing the third stage too, and we are doing this, growing the network. And yeah, we get our big goal. We became fluent. We solved the problem of social injustice, and we created the project, and the project was profitable. Just because there are lots and lots and lots of interactions, small little interactions, and these interactions enriched. This is why it is a learning language enrichment. Let the language become rich. And rich can be in many, 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 many meanings. And all these meanings will be present in this one meaning. That's the point. This is the most interesting thing about it. So that's actually the end of my lecture, and I wish you all good luck, all the best, goodbye.